Good morning. With the Premier League very near, sign up for some free Premier League research for the weekend. footballtrainingprofits.com/betfair trading made easy. We've got a good selection of matches on Saturday. The humdinger, Villa and Man City, two sides heavily affected by the Champions League. We've got top four Nottingham Forest away at Brentford. I wouldn't be discounting them. Newcastle look really good. Odds against an Ipswich struggling. They only really got their recent win against Wolves, and that needed a late goal. West Ham, tough side to predict. You don't know which West Ham will turn up under Lopetegui. And we've got a London derby. 3-goal Crystal Palace with Eddie Nketiah in the ranks, looking to get one over on his old club. Arsenal, though, are clicking into gear. So that looks a really good Saturday coupon. Also got a bit of Sunday Premier League. Everton against Chelsea. Is there any stopping this Chelsea side? Full of goals. They've even got Sideshow Bob, Mark Cucurella scoring. Unbelievable, Jeff. Fulham at home to Saints, coming off the back of a spanking at Tottenham. Watch out for a reaction from Southampton defensively. They might be set up to be tougher to beat against Fulham. We tend to see that. A Midlands-ish derby, Leicester against Wolves. 2.5 the favourite tells you all you need to know. Man United still not impressed. You can beat a poor out of form Manchester City. It doesn't mean your season's beginning. But in Europe, they've got Rasmus Højlund scoring 2 goals in 2 consecutive matches. But again, this is a really poor Czech side. I'm not impressed just yet. So question marks with Manchester United. New manager, of course. Tottenham coming off the back of that spanking against Southampton and playing a Liverpool side. I think if we go back to that Liverpool match against Newcastle, we could see a similar fate here. A goal fest. So I think Liverpool will have to be a little cautious, particularly with the Spuds coming off that massive win against Southampton. Looking at yesterday, Cup Day, and really, I keep my hands in my pocket because you don't know which of these Cup teams turn up. But these were the eye catchers yesterday. Professional Development League, as ever, it's a 2.5 goal league, but the problem is that's factored in to the 2.5 goal market. So you've got to be a little bit creative. 1.42, for example. Delay. Not so in the Ipswich match. You got the first minute goal immediately, but delay. If you can delay your entry into the market, I choose 15 minutes. Now, if you can eke out another 5 minutes, you'll see the over 2.5 goal odds get bigger and bigger. Now, don't forget, it's an overs league. If you can get far higher than a 1.42 or whatever this was probably 1.29, 1.42. So just by delaying 15-20 minutes, you're into value territory in a 72% over 2.5 goal league. Burnley with the goals early or late. Again, a little bit of delaying. And off you go. Now, if you do back over 2.5 goals first half, after waiting, that single goal will get you a profit guaranteed before half time. Premier League Cup, again, just a reputation for these youngsters is eagerness, enthusiasm, and goals galore. Again, just by delaying entry, you can get yourself better value than if you piled in before half time. Goals before half time, very welcome when you're trading overs. Now, this is interesting. Look at the relationship between the odds and the result. I tell you, 1.03, I think I said it in the video yesterday. Choose 3 scorelines between 4-0 and 9-0 and hope that you hit the nail on the head. So I would normally do odds or evens, 5-0, 7-0, 9-0, 4-0, 6-0, 8-0. or a combination of 3 of any scoreline between 4 and 9. If you get it, like PSV 8-0, you're up and running. Also, the problems with the cup readily exemplified here. 1.55 favourite, just couldn't be bothered. Quick boys playing in a very low tier compared to Fortuna Sittard. They play in the Tweeder division. They all have to wear tweed when they're playing. That's why it's a difficult league to get out of. Maastricht and Feyenoord again. The relationship between the short odds didn't come to fruition here in the cup. It's just something you have to worry with. But no real trade there, to be honest, with Feyenoord scoring first. Peterborough got revenge over Northampton. These two met very recently. Northampton came out the winners. But just a gentle reminder to you, trading angles can come in any form. Red cards, vitally important as well. They change games, don't they? And your angle in, if the draw odds were low enough, you could lay the draw. If the 11 players score first, draw odds will get to double figures because you're doubly impacted by the red and the goal for the 11. So that's a really good trading angle as well. You could live off the red cards, but I do recommend you just take an in-play stats look at the team with 11 players. Make sure they've responded. Juve against Cagliari. Well, the early in-play stats suggested that this was yet another cup match where the big name couldn't be bothered. But they proved me wrong. Took them a while, 44 minutes to get involved, and they put a little gloss on it with an 80th minute goal. So, fair enough. I wouldn't have played it myself. Ayopspor, Turkish Yorkshireman. Again, was the red card impactful? Did Nora Batty get anything out of this? No. They had their job done already. A couple of penalties in the second half, but the Turkish Yorkshireman, Horvis, Tetley Teabags, fantastic stuff. And for those of you who like to follow Gaddafi, they won 3-0 in the Ugandan Big League. I know there's a lot of Gaddafi fans out there. Let's have a look on to today, the 18th. Well, you know the drill already. You just saw it yesterday. Under 21s Professional Development League. Premier League Cup as well could offer us over 2.5 goals. Neutral is the way to go here. Got some big names out today. I'm afraid, at my brother's this evening, and I'm also looking to visit my dementia-riddled auntie. She should really have run for US president. She would have actually got in. Monaco and PSG. Fascinating match. Let's take a soccer stats look at this particular match. I would style it a kind of a derby style match, but PSG were emphatic against Lyon at the weekend, and I thought that would be tighter. So they might just have too much in them. Apologies for these ads, but it's the only real way now that you can access soccerstats.com. I'm quite willing to do so. They do put in a hell of a lot of work, as long as I'm not paying 60 quid a year for membership. So you can see Monaco, 2 of their defeats have come in Côte d'Azur derbies. So they're going to be a tough nut to crack. Nice and Marseille. So just make a note of that. And their only other defeat came at home, and that was a 0-1 against Angers. Don't know if there's a red card involved or not. So watch out for Monaco. They are a tough nut to crack. But we can get a look at how Monaco perform against the bigger names by looking at the challenge table. Unbeaten in 15, of course, PSG, unbeaten this season. But this is going to be a bit of a tester for them, I would suspect. But you see Monaco falling foul in derby-style matches. That's the concern today. Both teams scoring and 2-1 defeat, albeit away from home. We've already got a pattern of sorts for Monaco against the top 7. You can see no win yet. They've not played the top 2 at home. But again, this would be another Côte d'Azur derby, Marseille. PSG against the top 3. Well, an emphatic wins away at Marseille and Lille, and that win recently at Lyon, suggesting they've just got too much now. Don't forget, there's no Messi, no Neymar, no Mbappe. It's Barcola is the boy. Overs, Well, it's a surprising 38% over 2.5 goals for Monaco, suggesting a defensive bent there. And away from home, just above average, 57% for PSG. But note those 3-goal hauls against the top 5. So that could just be a tactic. And there's a picture of me. Look, how did I get on there? Unbelievable, Jeff. Moving on down, we can look at the times. This might give you a trading angle again. So it's much of a muchness, really, 50-50. But Paris Saint-Germain tend to go out of the blocks quickly. How might you work that? Well, you could look at the potential after 15 minutes if it's 0-0 for a goal before half-time at least. It's a very strong tactic for PSG away from home. 2/3 of their goals scored in the first half. Note they start increasing gradually with every 15 minutes. They're also good finishers as well, but they do concede late as well. So for me, these two are very good form sides. The Achilles heel for Monaco might just be in playing what I style derby-style matches. They could, yes, get on the score sheet, but in defeat. Note they scored first in those Côte d'Azur derbies and still couldn't manage to win. Paris Saint-Germain, you'll be looking at the potential for them to do what they did against Lyon. Now, this is a solid Lyon side, but they are beating top 5 sides 3-1 consistently. So for me, if Monaco score first, I don't think they'll be able to hold on to Paris Saint-Germain. Another one to look out for, watch out for Paris Saint-Germain's 62% scoring in the first half. You see the value of soccer stats at this stage of the season. It's superb. From November to April, all we've got is matches under our belt, and along with those matches comes really solid trading angles. The Dutch Cup, again, will get a bit of a back seat. Watch out, though, tomorrow when Chelsea take on Shamrock Rovers. I think they're 1.02. You saw PSV yesterday, 1.03, 8-0. We'll be looking at that kind of a scoreline for Chelsea tomorrow against the Irish side. FC Twente really should have too much, but you saw Fortuna Sittard couldn't be bothered yesterday. Utrecht, can they be bothered? Heerenveen got a great result against Ajax or PSV at the weekend, and they had threatened it. Again, if you go to the challenge table, you will see they've kept the likes of Ajax very quiet. Superb result for Heerenveen. Are they going to bring that momentum into the cup match today? Or are they up for the cup, or are they not up for the cup? These are the questions. AZ Alkmaar, pretty poor at the weekend. Big names, but are they going to turn up? Sporting Lisbon, I don't know who their new manager is, but they've been a little bit hit and miss. They need the luck of Amorim. As you can see here, since he left, it's all gone. Man City. Prior to that, spanking Braga, beating Man City, but then my Sunday League side can beat Man City, and a 6-0 against Amarante in the Cup. Sudden change of fortune under a different manager. Could be very wary of new manager syndrome. So they're going to be a little wobbly for me in the Cup today. They are playing Santa. I thought he was a little busy dropping off or preparing his presents for those children who have behaved well this year. Spanish La Liga. Well, we're a little early-ish in the video, so let's have a look at these two matches. You saw the how we could unpack Monaco and Paris Saint-Germain angles. Let's do the same. And while you're doing that, why don't you buy some harness dog coats for your dogs? Well, this lady is interested in a bit of trading as well. Espanyol and Valencia. Not a match I have an angle on pre-match at all. So I don't know what to make of this one. Maybe the stats will change my view. 4 wins only all season for Espanyol have come at home. 2 wins for Valencia have come at home. And there's that picture of me again. It took me ages to do that moustache, I tell you. So, for me, a couple of out-of-form teams. i.e. reliability or lack thereof. Particularly the away side, no win in 8 away matches for Valencia. Not looking good at all. One to certainly be very wary of. 18th against 20th, and that, I think, sums up my interest there. But do note, Espanyol have come alive at home against 12th and lower. They might fancy this. Valencia playing, I think, Valladolid. 10-man Valladolid in a previous relegation 6-pointer. They did their best to try and score, but just couldn't cross the line. But they're in a spot above Valencia. And it's sad to see such a big name at the bottom of the table. You saw the likes of Sampdoria leaving Italian Serie A. Hertha Berlin, for example, leaving the Bundesliga and can't get back up. Hamburg, ditto. So this is a relegation 6-pointer. We've got trust issues. Villarreal and Rayo Vallecano. Maybe we'll get a bit more readability there. So I would recommend you do take a look at soccer stats, regardless of my research for members of footballtradingprofits.com. This will give you a really good statistical look. Only 4 defeats all season, but sudden run of 2 consecutive defeats. I wouldn't be too alarmed. Look at the teams that Villarreal have lost to: Barcelona, Real Madrid, free-scoring Atletico Bilbao, and a Real Betis who can turn it on now and again. Rayo Vallecano tend to pick up a few more defeats as they go along, but that 3-3 against Real Madrid, I wouldn't read too much into that. It is a Madrid derby. These two teams could walk to each other's stadium. So that 3-3, and it was a much changed Real Madrid side. They brought the cavalry on a bit late. They couldn't get that 4th goal, but it was a great trading match. If you stuck with Real Madrid, they did get from that 2-2 to that 2-3. So for me, Villarreal look a tough side to beat this season. They have scored in the last 8 at home. Do remember that. But 3 consecutive under 2.5 goal matches away for Rayo Vallecano. I think, for me, the Yellow Submarine will have too much for Rayo today. Overs, probably hit and miss. 6th against 13th. And you can see only the 1 defeat, home and away against 8th and lower. Scoring 2 goals regularly as well, be something to look at. Both teams to score without Villarreal losing. Rayo Vallecano, away, sporadic, aren't they? Just a couple of 1-2 wins against Sociedad and Valladolid. But 2 of their 3 wins have come against the bottom 2. So I'm solidly in favour, on paper, of the Yellow Submarine. 88% over 2.5 goals. Well, again, should confirm 2+ goals from Villarreal today. But we've got a very, very strong unders current for Rayo Vallecano. So just be a little wary. They're going to pack that defence. But I don't think they'll be doing what they did against Real Madrid, because that was the enthusiasm of a local derby. That's why I do tend to stay away from derby-style matches. We don't have much really to look at. So very few goals in a Rayo Vallecano away match, but 2/3 of them have come in the second half. So we've got a clear indicator there. I think that Villarreal will be favoured. Spanish La Liga 2, it's not a league I know that well, but Granada would have got you a trade yesterday if you stuck with the pre-match odds. 1.38 favourite, a goal down, ended up winning 4-1. So that might be something to think about. Almeria, but again, we got the same story as yesterday, 2.5 and 2.35 the favourite. So it does suggest it's a very tough nut to crack this evening. The EFL Cup will have the fans out for sure. London Derby, Arsenal Crystal Palace. Again, I think we're seeing that at the weekend, aren't we? So we've got 2 consecutive London derbies, and that's notable because if these two are playing each other in the Premiership at the weekend, they're going to have to psychologically get one over, regardless of the competition in the match prior to that. So I think this is going to be a competitive affair this evening. Normally in the EFL Cup, Arteta will be fielding his grandmother up front, his nephews and nieces as left backs. His wife will be the lone striker. You get the idea. Huge changes to the team. Palace, is Nketiah going to get a run out? So that factor, the fact that they're playing on Saturday and the fact that they're playing today, I think psychologically they're going to want the win because you can get the momentum coming into the weekend if you beat Arsenal, for example, if you're a Palace fan. But they've unlocked a 3-goal habit now, haven't they? So had trouble scoring 2. Now they're having no trouble scoring 3, Crystal Palace. It's going to be a competitive affair. Newcastle and Brentford, again, I don't know how to unpack this one at all. It's a watching brief. Southampton, well, if I was a Saints manager, I'd get out of this competition sharpish, try to stay up in the Premier League. That's where the big money is. Well, the shorties obliged yesterday in the Coppa Italia. Got Atalanta and Roma under the Tinkerman, coming off the back of a very poor 2-0 defeat to Cesc Fabregas's Como at the weekend. 2 very, very late goals. They were totally out of sorts, Roma. Prior to that, under the Tinkerman, they scored 7 goals in 2 matches. So maybe this is a chance for the Tinkerman to get back on the winning foot. And Sampdoria, who I alluded to earlier in Italian Serie B, struggling. And that's it. I'll leave you with the free Premier League research, footballtradingprofits.com/Betfair trading made easy. And for members of footballtradingprofits.com today, my apologies if I'm unable to do a Telegram service for you this evening. As you know, I'm in Guernsey visiting family, and I don't see them because I'm normally in Thailand. So when I get a chance to see my brother and his wife and to help out with their grandson, then I'm more than willing to do so. And I'm also visiting my old auntie as well with dementia. Maybe she could be the new Manchester City manager. Who knows? Have a great day. As ever, if the meal finishes early with my brother, I'll be hopping on Telegram for you. But certainly book me in for Thursday. It's a good coupon on Thursday. And even Friday, my day off, it looks like a solid coupon. And I'm quite happy to do Telegram on a Friday if I've got no other obligations. Have a great day.